Action. This is your host, Ronnie Cowan. This is our first episode in August. We're coming at you twice a month. Great to be in August, moving forward with this podcast. Thank you for stopping on by, come and see us. Today we talk about everything from squash to ticks, disease. Of course, we'll touch on invasives, and then we'll take a trip downtown to look at the events that's going on. We're joined today in the cerebral rocking chair by our guest, Logan Hull. Logan Hull is from the Heritage Center, Smoky Mountains Heritage Center. So let's dive right into the show today. Hello again. Thank you for coming to stop by. So in August, I'm going to give you some chores to do. Like I start every podcast, we'll be talking about the tasks for August. So August, hopefully you're on your property. If you have late blueberries picked, or make sure that you're picking them as well. Keep a watch out for the tree fruit, for the blueberries. Keep picking warm season crops. Remember last time we talked about how to select those. If you missed that show, go back to check us out on YouTube or on our Facebook. Make sure that you like and subscribe our channels and our content. We are now on Spotify. So we are on Spotify. You can listen to us anywhere you go for free. Keep picking those warm season crops. Make sure that you're picking times are critical to enjoy the highest quality of your home vegetables. Get those tomatoes picked. Tomatoes will ripen in a windowsill. Some crops will not, so make sure that you look those up or contact your county agent. Make sure that you're using proper canning, freezing, and drying to preserve garden produce for later use. I was helping some of my friends this past weekend cut up some beans, breaking beans, snapping some of those green beans, canning them. The only way to eat them. I love homegrown canned green beans, storing them for use. I had to can them in the quart-sized jars because I love them so much. Good. Don't let the weeds get ahead of you and produce seed. So in the extension office, we're seeing a lot of people wanting to control weeds right now in their lawn and gardens, getting a lot of calls about Dallas grass, controlling some fescue and some plantings. So make sure that you get ahead of those. Bermuda's kind of tough. Talking about lawn and garden, we can have a whole show on lawn and garden topics, but Bermuda grass is a difficult one because, especially when you're dealing with Dallas grass, because they are both warm season. So they are going to be growing, greening, and just not a whole lot of great options out there to kind of spot treat, because most of that will kill your desirable cover, ground cover. So we do have some recommendations. There's some things that you can use as a pre-emergent, and that means that works before it starts growing, which is great because prevention is better than trying to spot spray and things. So we have some options for you if you're trying to control those weeds. So make sure that you get ahead of those. A lot of times we'll be working in the fall for that certain situation, trying to help with Dallas grass and Bermuda. We have a great publication on that, by the way, on all our turf grass. We have great turf grass specialists, so staying ahead on that. I like doing late plantings of summer squash. That's our vegetable that we're going to be highlighting today. We will be highlighting summer squash. So even though we're in August, we can still do some things with squash. So late plantings of summer squash and other short season, warm season crops like cucumbers can be done this month. I talked about those fresh cukes last month, but we'll be highlighting squash. Keep an eye on soil moisture levels, irrigation, and any need for side dressing for future or for fruiting crops. And prepare soils for fall cool season crops and maintain crop rotation. Transplant fall cool season crops that take the most days to mature. So let's talk about squash for a minute. Squash in Tennessee gardens. Summer just wouldn't seem real to a gardener in Tennessee if there wasn't fresh squash. And so from green to yellow and crooked neck to zucchini, there are many excellent options for our Tennessee gardeners. All summer squash are warm season crops that can be transplanted and direct seeded after danger of frost. So many bear in 40 to 50 days, can be harvested for several weeks if they maintain healthy or if they remain healthy. Many newer squash have good resistance or tolerance to viruses that are common in southern gardens. And here's some cultivars that you may consider. If you're looking for green zucchini, Raven, that's a dark green, Tigress, a lighter green, and Green Tiger, light and dark green striped. Yellow zucchini, Tifton, Goldmine, Easy Pick Gold, Golden Star. Yellow squash, Grand Prize, Silk Pike, Tempest, Zephyr. Zephyr has the green tip. Patty Pan, Sunburst, Beginnings, Green Tint, Novelty Ball, or 8 Ball for the novelty would be a round dark green. We have a publication called the D62 Vine Crops for Tennessee Vegetable Gardens. So if you're interested, if you got a late start, don't worry, you can still plant those squash. I love summer squash. So growing up in southern Appalachia, we had a lot of squash, but this may blow your mind. My wife thinks I'm pretty silly. So when I started dating her, her family made something called goulash. She grew up outside of our footprint of this show, but she grew up in West Tennessee, in Lawrence County. I have a lot of friends still over that area. But her goulash was hamburger and macaroni and cheese, noodles. That was not my goulash. I grew up thinking that goulash, my Uncle Jerry and family would make goulash would just be butter, yellow squash, zucchini, sweet onions, and be fried in butter till it's soft, and that was our goulash. So I don't know who's right. You can comment, call in, or you can comment below. Let me know what your goulash is. It's a regional delicacy. Does anybody out there know my goulash? Seems to be that I was the only one that grew up thinking that. Maybe we're just weird. Great possibility, us Cowans. So get those in the ground. We have a great publication for that. So understanding trailing systems for home fruit, that's another topic that's going to be highlighted in August. Terms pruning and training are often used together when talking about fruit, but they can be distinct but linked practices. Pruning is making specific cuts on canes or branches to produce the desired plant form and crop load. And you can look at October for pruning basics. So when I'm following our guide in October, we'll highlight some of those pruning basics. But some thoughts, the reasons why we do training and pruning is sunlight intercepted by leaves, good air movement or to dry leaves and reduce disease risk, spray penetration for best benefit of fungicides or insecticides. Plus, it's just easier picking due to better access to fruit. So a lot of plants really benefit from having better airflow. I've been on calls today in this past couple of weeks on homeowner visits dealing with sick and diseased plants, and some of them could have been prevented by proper airflow. So keeping those trimmed back, good growth habitat, good growing site and site selection is a great way to combat disease. So if they don't get good airflow, they can get mold, they can get mildew, but it's, again, a great thing to practice prevention. So you only get to pick site selection once for some of these crops and some of these tree species. Speaking of trees, that's another big topic this month in extension. July made several visits to sick trees. A lot of our dogwoods, getting calls about dogwoods looking bad. And predominantly when I go out there, it's usually poor planting or poor site selection, or planting varieties in full sunlight that don't need to be there. The sun scorch. Now, some varieties do better in full sun than others. Dogwood typically, our native dogwoods usually like to hang out in the understory shade. So planting them in full sunlight in the landscape is usually not a great practice, but site selection, not planting too deep. We can help you learn the proper planting techniques. So come out and see us, or call your county agent if you're having trouble with those ornamental trees. Because most of the time, not always, we see a lot of homeowners or a lot of situations where it was just planted too deep or poor site selection, which leads to poor ventilation in some cases. So, we have a special guest today coming into the cerebral rocking chair. We have Logan Hull. Logan Hull is the representative for the Great Smoky Mountain Heritage Center over here in Townsend and Blount County. And she is going to tell us all about what's going on. They always have something going on. It's a great place to visit. So I'm going to introduce our guest, special guest, Logan Hull. Let me introduce our guest today on the Appalachia At You podcast. We have Logan Hull here from the Great Smoky Mountain Heritage Center. How are you this morning?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Doing great. You have an exciting program coming up that our Extension Office helps with called the Blue Ribbon Country Fair, but we want to talk a little bit about who hosts that, the Great Smoky Mountain Heritage Center. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Absolutely. The Great Smoky Mountain Heritage Center opened in 2006, and our mission is to preserve and promote and protect the culture of this area from southern Appalachia. So we cover everybody from the early Native Americans through the pioneers. So we're, first of all, a cultural museum, history museum. We've got a great historic village out there with cabins from the 1800s. So we're just really excited to be able to offer this event to our guests so they get a feeling of what kind of pioneer and old-timey life was like.
Mm-hmm. We like to say on this podcast, we try to put the culture in agriculture. So programs like this and sites like this definitely help with that. I took the family last fall up there to see it. They have a old moonshine still and a story to read behind it. They have the cabins and an old church. Is that right?
We do. We have the Wildest Chapel Church that is on property, and everything has been relocated to us. So all of these buildings are from the area. So mainly Blount County, but there's a general area that we try to collect from. But we've got 14 buildings out back, and they're all staged so it looks like the family has just walked out, or it looks like the community members have just left.
Yeah, and you can see some of these sites from the road there if you're traveling up to the Great Smoky Mountains. It's right there on the right in Townsend, correct?
Absolutely. We've got 2 cabins, an old barn, and a brand new heirloom garden going in down front right now.
Okay. So is there an admission price to see the museum?
There is. We offer rates for adults, seniors, and kids, also groups that want to come in and visit us. And we're a really popular spot for field trips for the school kids during the academic year.
Great. And do you all have a volunteer group, or if someone wants to help or has a passion for that?
We do. It's called the Heirloom Society, and we offer opportunities for anybody to come volunteer. We love getting living history demonstrators. We've got several folks that come in and do open hearth cooking and sewing and weaving and all sorts of demonstrations that really engage the guests so they get a really good feel of what we're about.
So Logan, why do you think it's important to display and show some of the Southern Appalachian heritage in the Smoky Mountain area of yesteryears? Why is that important?
Well, I think it's important just because our ancestors, the pioneers that lived out here, they had to be really creative with their solutions. They lived a really hard life. Nothing was given to them. And so they had to be very ingenious in coming up with solutions to these problems. So in our main gallery, we have several of these handmade tools that, they look very simple on the outside, but when you start to think about, they had nothing. So even the nails they used to build the cabins had to be handmade and hand forged. So everything was a struggle. So to kind of understand that and give some reverence to that, I think is very important for the generations coming up, just so they get a feel of that.
Absolutely. As a native Southern Appalachian, I appreciate that there's more to it than pancake houses and go-kart tracks, right?
Absolutely. I'm a local person myself, and some of these cabins and barns are what I grew up visiting at my grandparents' house.
Oh yeah, tough people that took and settled this land, and if you look at history, or how they had to develop this land. My ancestors grew tobacco and did forestry, and they had things called skeleton trees. The land's not flat in this area. If they had to grow corn, they'd have to grow it on the side of a mountain sometimes, and they would go out and hack and and girdle the trees so they just have a place to plant their crops. And this is a conversation for another day, but I believe Townsend was a float for forestry people. I mean, they used to float logs down. It was real hard land. So these people, and this should be celebrated, their hard work, and a lot of it's still going on today.
Absolutely, and if anybody's ever dug around in the dirt out here, I mean, it's red clay. So to be able to forge a life out of that, I think adds some grit to us.
Oh yeah. So how many years has this Heritage Center been around?
So the Heritage Center opened in 2006. It pretty much got started after the big dig that happened in Townsend in the late 90s and early 2000s. Pretty much what happened was they were trying to extend the road, and when they did, they started uncovering a lot of Native American artifacts. So the University of Tennessee came in with their archaeological team, did a 3-year dig, and so we were able to get some of those artifacts that were collected. The other parts went to the McClung Museum and the Museum of the Cherokee over in North Carolina. So that's how we got started. So that's kind of the beginning of our story that we try to tell, the Heritage Center. And so from there, we've just, been lucky enough that people have wanted to donate some family heirlooms and artifacts to us. And that's how we've gotten everything, was through donations.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's very important and a really great cause. So one of these that are coming up, so they do many events, they do many festivals, even live music, Logan was telling me earlier. The one that we want to highlight that's coming up soon is this Blue Ribbon Country Fair. It has been around several years as well. They've only missed 1 year due to COVID in the past. How many years you said?
This will be our 16th year.
Should have been the 16th year. So really cool. And if you live in Blount County, this is probably the closest area that you have to enter a fair exhibit, right?
It is.
Yeah, so the only one that I know of is the Tennessee Valley Fair, but this is a great local one that you can participate in. They have many different different categories. Can you highlight some of the activities and things that will be going on?
Sure. We've got competitions in canning and produce, floral design, poultry. One of our biggest one is student art. We get the elementary and even high schoolers out here and get to display their skills. We've also got woodworking and several others that we're really happy that we've been able to bring back since COVID.
Great. We have a lot of help with that as far as the UT Extension Blount County. John and Amy and James have all been a big part of this. They're run by a committee of several great folks. Mary Beth is also on there from our office. When I think of canning exhibits, I don't know if you've ever watched Andy Griffith and Aunt Bee. There was some controversy in their county fair back in Mayberry when someone entered, was it gasoline or Vaseline pickles? so nothing shady like that going on here at the Blue Ribbon Country Fair. But if you want to come out and see some great fair exhibits, we hope you participate. If someone wants to enter a exhibit, Logan, can you kind of walk them through the process of doing that?
Yeah, so all of our entry forms are online this year. If you go to gsmheritagecenter.org, under our festivals and events page, you'll see a link there that'll take you right to the application. It's also got all the guidelines, rules, and regulations for every category on there. And people can enter, and we accept entries from all ages. So from, if say you want to teach your kid how to can, we'll accept that, and we've got different categories and different ribbons for each age group. So we're really excited to be able to bring that competition part back.
That's great. And so we look forward to helping out with that. They really have all kinds of categories. I look forward to seeing the student art, as she was mentioning. That's great that kids get involved. I like chicken. She has 22 classes of poultry you can enter, all kinds of vegetables, and then canning. What a great way to present your hard work. That's what we really want to do, is the hard work and the skill that it takes to enter these exhibits. So there is a Best of Show Honey will be awarded a special ribbon open to all ages. We're big on keeping honeybees. We have honeybees here at the Extension office. We have a really good Beekeepers Association. So if you need to see the rules and how you do that, you can go to that website, gsmheritagecenter.org, look at the festivals, and click on the Country fair, and that's where you can see it at. But we look forward to getting out there. Maybe we can take some live video this year to show you what's going on. We hope you come out and participate and show off that hard work. I look forward to being there. This will be my first year at the Blue Ribbon Country Fair. So if you have any questions, you can contact us here at the UT Extension office, or you can contact Logan over at the Great Smoky Mountain Heritage Center. We appreciate you coming by, and we look forward to hearing more out of the Heritage Center, and always keep up to date. So what's the best way of finding out what's going on at the center? Is it through the website?
It is. We've got a calendar of events down at the bottom, and we've got activities pretty much every weekend or every week. So we'd love to get living history folks out there, but we've also got a long list of concerts and other festivals going on throughout the year.
Great. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Logan, for coming by.
Absolutely, anytime.
All right, make sure that you go check out the Great Smoky Mountains Heritage Center and all that Logan Hull and her team there has to do. That Country Blue Ribbon Fair, our office will be heavily involved in that. So if you have some hard work and some arts and crafts that you want to display and highlight, please come on out and participate, or at least go see it. So again, thank you, Logan, for coming out and being such a great guest on our show today. We'll transition over to natural resources. We have some things in the news I want to talk about. We have quota hunts just expired. So at the end of July, Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency's quota hunts have just passed. So hopefully you got in there and were able to put in for some draw hunts, as my family calls it. Yours truly, your boy here, put in for Tusa. So maybe me and my hunting party there will be successful. So you had a lot of options to choose from. I know that I've made great memories on these wildlife management areas, so hopefully I will be lucky to draw a tag. If not, I will be hunting on family farms and private property. But I always like checking out these wildlife management areas. Our folks over at TWRA work hard to try to manage those for our hunters and public land recs. So check them out. And even if you don't like to hunt and fish, you should think about buying a license, because that money for a license directly goes into wildlife management activities. So support our Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agencies. Also put in for the bear party hunt. So I used to have cousins and family members that used to do bear hunts here in Sevier County, Blount County. So maybe I'll be successful in those party bear tag, but I didn't really know the rules. I just threw my name in the hat with a couple friends. So fingers crossed for that bear party hunt. Again, that was in 26. Maybe they'll sell tags. I think they used to sell tags if you were not successful or if you missed that deadline. So if there's available, they may have some tags over the counter if you're needing places to hunt, recreate. And there's also wildlife management areas that you don't need to be drawn on. They're non-quota hunts. So if you want to check out our open areas to hunt, are listed at TWRA. Go to tn.gov, search wildlife management areas. I know that me and a good friend of mine that's in West Tennessee, we may try to hunt the South Cherokee National Forest this year. I've done some recreating up that way, trout fishing and other things, so maybe we'll check it out. But we got some great opportunity in Tennessee. Very fortunate to have those public lands that give us access. So we have, speaking of trout, we had a record trout caught in Tennessee here recently. So a 10-year-old, the great thing is a 10-year-old catches state record trout in river. So up in Sullivan County, Tennessee, up in the upper Tennessee there, has a new state record for cutthroat trout. And massive fish was caught by a 10-year-old on the Holston River. That makes it so much more cool in my mind. The massive fish was a 4-pound, 12-ounce trout in the Boone tailwater along the Holston River. TWRA confirmed it. If you don't know, a cutthroat trout is not native to Tennessee, but they stock it. like a rainbow trout. They stock them up there. I've actually was successful and caught a cutthroat trout, but there's some key markings there under that jaw, but it kind of resembles our other trout, but that's where it gets its cutthroat name there, that under the jaw, that coloration. So in a social media post congratulating Palmer, TWA shared the agency had released 2,550 cutthroat trout in the upper portion of Fort Patrick Henry Reservoir on the Holston below Boone Dam. They aren't native, but have been stocked by various agencies and select waterways. So I believe I caught one probably 10, 15 years ago down in Tellico, Cityco area, but I was very young. So it beats the old record by, I think, by 2 pounds. Rushed it, or she, whoever the young 10-year-old is, crushed that pre. That's great news, heartwarming. Get out there and start trout fishing. Fishing report. I like looking at Chickamauga. A lot of us go to the Chick. The schoolers are starting to pop up. Make sure you have the small shad swim baits on spinning rods so you can throw it a mile. The slower blow and the pawpaw are great as well. The grass seems to be key, and actually right now it's not going to take much as our grass is way behind this year. But when you find the good grass that is 2 to 4 high, that's money. Watch the current like a hawk. He surges and runs for a little while that can be the window to mash them on big plug swim bait or the get bit schooner. I'm not familiar with that one. I love a hair jig and a flutter spoon, but if you fire them on a loud, you can soak them quick. This is from Billy Wheat. He's a contributor to this in.gov fish. So we'll update you on Douglas. That's an area lake. So this is from Brad Burkhart, a professional fisherman. He says it's short and sweet. The real summer bite has finally showed up. You can still catch them. Yes, they're still offshores and depths about 20 to 35 feet of water, but here's the deal. TVA is not pulling a lot of water. If you ain't on the water at daybreak, it's a little tough. Norris Lake, Paul Shaw. This is the Norris Creel Clerk. Water temperature. I like these Creel Clerks. They give a real good description of what's going on. Water temperature. I like to see all that. Water temperature is 80 to 85 degrees, a little hot. Water clarity 4 to 6 feet, good color. The upper end of the rivers are running clear. Water elevation is 1,014 feet at midnight. The elevation has dropped only a few inches since last week's report. Summer pool for the reservoir is 20 feet above sea level. In summary, fishing typically remains fairly consistent with temporary changes when thunderstorms or rain events pass through. Daytime fishing on the weekends is usually a bust because of high boat traffic. But if you can tolerate it, mud lines kicked up by wave action can be a good place to fish as the lake is clear as Norris. So you can check out these at tn.gov fishing forecast. Checking out Tellico River since we're talking about trout a little bit. It's been a wet summer so far, and the trend's going to continue for the next couple of days with 1.5 inches of rain expected. So this was done about a week ago. We needed some rain. Despite a lack of notable hatches lately, dry fly fishing has been phenomenal, especially for anglers who are venturing into the tributaries targeting wild and native trout. A parachute Adams, yellow simulator, or Griffin's gnat is about all you need. We have been fishing nymphs below our dries, and 90% of the fish choose to pounce on the dry flies. This is from Cody Fisher. He's a forecast contributor. A lot of fun out there to be had in our local reservoirs and streams. Breaking news just come out in July. We talked about going out recreating. Well, in Tennessee and in the southeast especially, we all have to worry about ticks. And dadgummit, I'm just about certain that this is going to be the fall of man. These ticks coming from someone who has alpha gal. If you're from alpha gal, I have alpha gal where I can no longer eat mammalian meat. which is hard when you used to like processing your own venison and meat and used to be a butcher. So that is from a tick. This study out of Wisconsin, this was published by the Wildlife Society, says that ticks may be spreading CWD. For those that don't know it, CWD stands for chronic wasting disease. It is a disease in deer. It's bad news. If you haven't heard about it, contact your local extension office. We can tell you of the counties that are infected, that have infected deer with chronic wasting disease. It's a really, really unfortunate disease that fatal for whitetail. Hard to get rid of. It's a part of a protein, a prion. Can't really burn it out. You can't really do much with it. Now, they may think that ticks may be responsible for spreading this. So research in Wisconsin has shown that prions that cause chronic wasting disease can pass through the bodies of black-legged ticks. That's in our range. After they ingest blood from white-tailed deer, the research published recently also determined that ticks can carry transmittable levels of prions in their blood meal. They could pass this to other deer via certain social behavior like grooming. So for those that you don't know it, deer can eat ticks. Deer will groom one another to get places that they can't reach on their own through self-grooming. Heather, I won't have trouble mispronouncing her name, but a researcher from Wisconsin unit said in the grooming process they may eat ticks full of CWD prions, just like little CWD Tic Tacs. Not great news out of that. We first discovered chronic wasting disease when I was an extension agent in West Tennessee. The county that I hunt out there has not been put in that list, but there is a county very close that's in Corn. If you want to know more about chronic wasting disease, look up TWRA. They have a hunting unit just for chronic wasting disease, and they're trying to manage it on a large scale. So they have different seasons and different regulations for that chronic wasting. So take caution. If you hunt in a CWD area, please follow the regulations, follow the rules, try to keep that out. They have just found another state with CWD not long ago. Now Florida has chronic wasting disease. Bad news, especially for those that enjoy one of America's greatest pastimes, whitetail deer hunting. So very bad news on the horizon for that. Definitely learning as we go. Hopefully we can do more research and hear more to come about ticks carrying CWD. Very, very scary stuff here. This music, this means that we are going to be talking about our invasives. We could have certainly thrown those ticks in there. Bad stuff. Really worries me. But we're going to talk about two. We want to highlight invasive and issues that may be going on now. And it's just a coincidence, but we have to talk about another worm. And it is the army worms. Army worms are already already been seen in West Tennessee. UT Extension, McNairy County, and others have put on this on their Facebook about far army worms. They're coming in at McNairy County. They're seeing them other places. They're more active early in the morning, late evenings. So be on the lookout. Worms. So what's the big deal about these? Well, they eat, and eat. So they can hurt your lawn, they can hurt your pastures. So let's check out a publication on lawns. So we have a great publication Frank Hale, Dr. Hale, has about how to control them. All the way from pests that infect soil roots. So we can go to page 6, look at army worms. Publication talks a lot more in detail of every bug that you have, but beneficial publication. But be on the lookout for these army worms. Caterpillar looking ones, they'll be eating your grass, and they will a lot of damage. So they eat leaves and stems. Talks about different bugs, but you can find army worms. Fall army worms are larvae. That's caterpillars and moths. When they're numerous, they may devour the grass down to the ground. Their feeding causes circular bare areas in the lawn or heavy infestation. Whole lawns may be devoured. Whole lawns may be devoured. So if you see these scary looking worms, please contact your extension office, your county agent, let them know. They can give you some recommendations on how to control them. A lot of different things that we can do, but first part is key identification. So be looking on them for your grass, your lawn and garden, or on your pastures. We also have publications on pastures. Have cattle, or if you have horses, Bermuda grass or other types of grass, that control, we see them. It's not if, but when. Some years are worse than others, but be on the lookout. They are here. The other scary one, this here kind of has a love and hate relationship. It's the plant we love but need to hate. This Japanese honeysuckle. Japanese honeysuckle is perennial. It means it comes back. Woody vine of the honeysuckle family that spreads by seeds. And it's kind of pretty. It's the one, if you grew up, it's got the white and yellow flowers. You can pull the stamens out and you can get nectar out of it, kind of like a honey. But they're bad. It damages forest communities by outcompeting native vegetation for light, below ground resources by changing forest structure. The vines overtop adjacent vegetation by twining about and completely covering small trees and shrubs. So it literally chokes out our native stuff. As it becomes established and forms a dense blanket that endangers most tree, shrubs, herbs, and trees. So they are native to East Asia, including Japan. It was introduced to the United States as an ornamental plant for erosion control and for wildlife cover. However, there are many better choices for those uses. So we have some recommendations for those. This is from another partner college, but we have ways to control them. A lot better plants out there for that. So alternatives could be Virginia bower, trumpet honeysuckle, woolly Dutchman pipe, Virginia creeper, crossvine, very, very common. We don't recommend bittersweet or a lot of ornamentals. We want to be in the same situation. So when we're dealing with natural resources, we try to stick. Don't try, we want to stick with nature. Get rid of this Jap honeysuckle and these other natives. Fall armyworm, Japanese honeysuckle. Be on the lookout for these scary creatures here. All right, so let's take a trip downtown. We are going to go downtown. Let's see what's going on in the area this next couple weeks into August. We'll have another show coming to you at the towards the end of the month, but let's see what's going on downtown. So first we have an event that's coming up that I'd like to show you. It is this Life Down on the Farm, and it is a focus on farmers' health. It is here in Blount County, so you have to come check it out. Want to check it out here, Life on the Farm. It'll be August the 22nd, and it's a free event. Everyone is welcome. Farmers are people too. And it's to gather to increase public awareness about how to support our farmers and hear the stories of the joys and challenges of farm life. So you can register at TSU Extension Office here in Blount County. We're at 1219 MacArthur Road. You can give us a call at 865-982-6430 and press 5. Or you can go online. You can email me at rcowan, RCOWAN, number 2 at utk.edu, and then we'll get you that link to register. So Dinner will be served. Help Blount County become a farmer-friendly community. And this is just a pretty much general knowledge of what farmers do, and they are people too. So there are ups and downs, there's stresses on the farm. I think a lot of us have romantic views of agriculture where we work with our hands, we eat what we grow, but it is a lot of work, a lot of finances involved. If you remember, we had David Builder back on the show last show, so he was able to fill us in on how he helps farmers with money, finances. But please consider coming out live down on the farm. Come check us out. It'll be something totally unique. You'll get a free meal and learn about the farming community. Again, with questions, give us a call at the Extension office, 982-6430, Extension 5. Give you that online link. Wish I could share it, but I don't have it pulled up. I apologize for that. But those of us listening, give us a call, comment in the sections. We will get you that information. We want you to come out and support a great cause for us. Free, and we'll even feed you. Come on out and check us out. We have a value added thing going on. That's also a great event. So developing your value added market strategy is October the 16th, 19th, and October the 24th through the 25th. And it'll be crafting your marketing strategy. So if you're a hobby farmer, like hopefully our target audience is here, learn how to sell your honey, sell your produce, sell your crafts, anything value-added agriculture. We can communicate the value of your product and consumers, product and brand perceptions, packaging and pricing considerations, and interactive sensory analysis component. So we can help you, just like the last event, we could help you out in marketing marketing and strategizing. How are you going to make money? So you got to make money to stay alive in this business. Good to have that romantic view, but you got to be disciplined. So there's in Kentucky, there's some in North Carolina and in Tennessee. So if you need more information on that, again, rcowan2@utk.edu. Comment on our Facebook, on our YouTube. Make sure you follow those. But we are partnering with Kentucky, NC State, Penn State, Farm Bureau, SDBI, and Kentucky Developmental Council. So if you got a small farm, hobby farm, or looking to venture out, maybe starting in the game, in the business, hit us up. We can help you out there. Another cool thing that we got going on is Grill Master. Here in Blount County, we have a grill team. So we need people to come out. We need children, age grades 6 through 12. Our first practice was a couple weeks ago, but we have practices most Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have practice tomorrow. We'll be grilling chicken. We teach children how to grill protein, poultry, steak, lamb, and they learn how to be food safe and learn how to build fires and cook on charcoal grills. It's a valuable life skill. Your children will be making supper for you in no time if you participate. So if you have children grades 6 through 12 that wish to be on the UT Extension Blount County Grill Master team, or if you're not in Blount County, I'm sure your county has a team also. We are training for the big regional contest September 19th. So come on out if you have an interest. We'll get you signed up for 4-H so you can participate and have a lot of fun. Again, that's the Grill Masters. We're looking for kids who want to learn how to cook on the grill. No experience needed. We will teach you everything you need to know. So make sure that you consider that. In other great news, we have the Master Gardeners. They were awarded they received an award for their Firewise Garden. If you haven't been out, come by and look at our display out in the front of our office. That's all Firewise plants. We have a great Master Gardening group here in Blount County, very active. And a lot of fun to be a part of. So if you want to be something in a good group that does community service, you have a passion for gardening or horticulture, we have the volunteer organization for you. For more information, contact us and we'll get you hooked up, and maybe you become a master gardener. Your kids can be master grillers. We just want everyone to be masters of something. Agriculture Day is coming up. Ag Day in the office. Not in the office, but at the UT campus. So save the date, September the 23rd, in Knoxville. That is a Ag Day, so you'll get to see your UTIA. They'll have booths there. You'll get to learn about what we do at the University of Tennessee Institute of Agriculture. That'll be September the 23rd. There'll be more details coming soon, but that is when we play. Thank goodness that college football is coming up. We play Texas San Antonio Roadrunners. So come out to Ag Day for a good time, learn about what we do, and then watch us beat up on the Roadrunners. And I'd like to end it today. Got a lot going on downtown, but I want to end today's show. I love trivia. Me and the wife, that's one of our big hobbies. But I want to play some trivia. You can comment the answers below, or on our YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, or you can email them at rcowan2@utk.edu. If you have a good trivia question, you can email me and it may make the show. But today's trivia question is, what is the driest county in Tennessee? And East Tennessee, sorry. And when I say driest, I mean precipitation, rain, snow, sleet. Precipitation-wise, what is the driest county in East Tennessee? The answer may surprise you. So we're talking about East Tennessee today, the driest county in East Tennessee. Comment your answers below. See if you know it. We'll have answers on part 2 in late August. So thank you for stopping by, coming on the porch. Maybe we'll see you real soon again. And thank you for tuning in to Appalachia at Ya.